Is banning live scope the right thing for professional bass fishing? Yes and no, because it depends on who is banning it, and it depends on who is not banning it. So the big news that just recently came out is that the NPFL, up and coming trail, they have banned live scope, forward facing sonar, live imaging as they call it. They've banned it for the 2025 tournament season. Now, for the NPFL, I think that is a good move, in my opinion. That is a good move for them. They need to have separation. They need to have some differentiation from Bassmaster and from MLF in their entire tournament trail. We don't know exactly what Bassmaster, and we don't know exactly what the whole MLF series are going to do. You know, from the BPT all the way down. We don't know what they're going to do yet. I've heard rumblings about what BPT is going to do. I don't know any insider information on Bassmaster yet. I'm expecting an announcement any day. Hopefully it will be sooner than later, because I would like to go ahead and get my boat set up for the following season, just from a personal standpoint. But as for what Bassmaster or BPT does, they need to do what's best for their business model. Bassmaster has said that. We had a meeting up in New York with Chase Anderson leading the way. We had Chris Bowes, our VP of tournament operations, that talked to us a lot. Lisa Talmadge was there, our tournament director. She said some things as well. But really what Chase was kind of the underlying theme was that, you know, they're going to do what is best for Bassmaster and their business model. That's what they should do. I think the NPFL made an interesting move because they preempted anybody else's. They didn't. It's not like they jumped the gun. I mean, this is kind of like when we need to know what's going on for next year. So they went out and were the first ones to ban the forward-facing sonar in professional bass fishing. Now, other like a Muskie Trail, I heard a year ago banned forward-facing sonar. That's just whatever they want to do. That's fine. That maybe that works for their business model. I haven't heard from anybody whether that was successful, whether that went well or that did not go well. I've heard that a few local trails for bass fishing have banned live scope, and that has not gone well because their participation numbers have dropped. Because you got to think about it. In the last 3 years, 4 years, whatever, there have been thousands and thousands of people that have spent thousands and thousands of dollars to put this technology, this newer technology, on their boats. They want to use it. I mean, if I just went out and spent $6,000, $8,000 on all these new electronics so that I can see the fish better and I can compete with the other people that have this technology, and then all of a sudden the normal trail that I'm fishing just comes out and says, yeah, you can't use that anymore. I'm gonna be kind of ticked, man. I'm gonna be like, dude, what the heck, man? So I don't know. I think for NPFL, again, good move. It will be something to where people can watch what happens when we go back 5 years in time. Oh my God, they're still going to catch fish. They're going to catch fish on a drop shot. They're still going to catch fish on swim baits. They're still going to catch fish on jerk baits and some flipping and frogging and whatever else they want to catch fish on. If they go up north, probably going to be catching them off a 2D sonar or going to be using their 360, and maybe they're going to be having giant 20-some inch screens to be able to really see what's down there on their 360. I mean, that's what I'd be doing. I'd be having my 360 on one of those 22-inch NBTs. I'd have one of those Apex units and have it plugged into my 360. I'm not fishing NPFL. Go ahead, there it is, boys and girls. Jump on it. Be the first one to put that 360 on that big MBT, that giant screen, so you can see every little teeny tiny detail that 360 can show you. So that's my 2 cents. I think it'll be fun to watch. That'll be something that will be a factor. Now, it's not going to be live sonar, of course. It's not going to have the same effect. You can't watch the fish in real time. You don't get to see the separation and be able to watch their reactions and stuff like that. So, more power to them. They kind of have a cool thing going on over there. I think they were starting to gain some momentum. I don't know. I think, sometimes in business, and this is what it is for them. In business, you have to kind of take some risks and calculated risks. And that's one of their calculated risks was to go out there and jump out there and say, we're not going to do it. I don't expect Bassmaster to come out there and say the same thing. I don't expect the BPT to say the same thing. I don't know what the Toyota Series is going to do or any of the other trails, the BFLs. I've heard people say, oh yeah, they're going to ban it in BFLs, and I've heard, oh no, they're going to come out and make it to where it's shared weight in the BFLs. I heard a thought today. It's just more of a discussion than anything else, that maybe the BFL guys, if they want to still use live sonar, they pay an additional $20 or additional $40, and they fish by themselves to kind of cover what the co-anglers were, because the co-anglers oftentimes get hosed when guys are using forward-facing sonar. That's an idea. Throw that out there. Shared weight idea, I think, is kind of cool. It's been done for years with the on the West Coast, years and years. I mean, they've been doing it at the U.S. Open for a long time, and it seems to be very successful. They have some cool. I've never fished in that format. I know people that have, and they said it's pretty cool. I don't know how that might work for the BFLs and so forth. But I don't see that happening in Bassmaster. But you know what? If Bassmaster says, hey, we're going to ban live sonar too. All right, cool. I'm going to go ahead and get my boat set up, whatever. I've not had the greatest last handful of years, 3 years or so, have really sucked. I've not done well. It's not because of forward-facing sonar. I've had all kind of other stuff going on. I've not been able to probably focus the way I want to, the way I need to compete at this level. These guys are coming out now, not just the rookies, but the guys that are still jamming, doing well. The veterans, like Chris Saldane, he had not a great season. I think it was 2 seasons ago. Last year was decent. This year, killer season, top 10 in the points. He really kind of had a renewed focus, renewed energy, renewed focus of learning the new technology. I mean, spent time with Josh Jones. He spent time with, I believe, in the boat with Milliken, if I'm not mistaken. So he was getting access to guys that are kind of more of the pioneers on the forward-facing sonar, learned from it, adapted it to his principles, adapted it to how he knows how to fish, and went out there and had a killer year. He had a killer year. He was fishing pissed off all year, man. He was on it, doing great, man. I'm happy for him. Chris is a different cat, and I tell him to his face, we're good friends. But he and I, awesome. So I'm really happy he had a good season. And then you look at the rest of the lineup down there, you see a lot of younger names, a lot of those guys that came out of the opens. I think there's a couple reasons for that. I don't think it's all forward-facing sonar. Some of those guys are probably the most adept and the most dialed into it, and that is a factor. But also, about half of the places we went, the opens went to last year, so they were kind of like used to it. I would say that helped. It's not the only factor, because hell, we go to some of the same places year after year as well, and it's not just a guarantee that you're going to do well just because you went to the same place the year before. I sucked at Champlain last year, and I sucked at it again this year. I had my number last year. I had a little bit of bad luck this year, and I just kind of tried to do too much. That was really what I tried to do. So kind of messed that up 2 years in a row. So that is not a guarantee that you will do well just because you've been to a place. But that does play a factor. Especially when we can't, if the elites go there, we can't get any kind of local information. The opens go there, they absolutely can. So, when we're talking about banning live sonar versus not banning live sonar, all this kind of stuff, information is probably a way bigger influence than forward-facing sonar, in my opinion. So a lot of people have various opinions, and that doesn't get talked about. But I think that from a forward-facing sonar standpoint, NPFL banning it, I think it's cool. It'd be a cool different angle for them. A lot of good dudes over there running that trail and supporting it and behind it. Not just the anglers, but the dudes behind it. I met a number of them. So I'm happy for them, man. I tune in and watch and see what's going on. I'm a fan of the sport, obviously, so I'm tuning in to watch what's going on. So more power to them. Happy for them. I think that will be a good move for them. I don't think banning forward-facing sonar would be a good move for Bassmaster. I don't think banning forward-facing sonar would be a good move, a complete ban for BPT, because I have my reasons. I'm going to wait for Bassmaster and for BPT to do their press releases, and then I'll give you my full story on why I don't think that would be a good move for them. It doesn't have anything to do with me or what I think or what's best for my personal interest. It has to do with what is best for the fans and the people trying to learn the sport, and for the whole entire industry. I think there's a scenario. I've talked about it a little bit before, but I think there is a scenario. It came out when I did mention it in the comments of Clark Winlet's video, or his letter that he did publicly about how he thought it should be banned. He made a lot of good points, and I don't dispute any of them, but I don't think a complete ban is the right thing. And I'll explain that more in a future video that you guys can tune into, and you don't have to be in the nightlight, so to speak, that like I am here at night, just having these thoughts. I didn't have much time to do any kind of video today, so I got to pop something out here at night just so we can let y'all know how I'm feeling and my reasoning for why I think NPFL made a good move. And I'll be curious to see how it turns out for him. If anybody has any comments below, let's not go crazy with it. I'd be curious to kind of just hear the comments of whether you think that's a good move for the NPFL. One, if you think that Bassmaster should make a similar move, and if you think that the BPT should make a similar move. Don't have just like yes, no, maybe one sentence. That's all we need to do here. We don't need to get, nobody needs to get crossed up in the comments. Don't make me hide your comments. I'll do it. I'm not scared to. But yeah, we just got to keep it friendly, and because this is all evolving right now, and hopefully we can have some really cool conversations as this plays out about who's doing what, which trails are doing what, and then we get to see how it all plays out next year, because you, the fans, are going to win. You're going to get all kind of varied coverage guaranteed right now, because there's going to be no FFS on one entire trail. Like I said, a lot of eyeballs are going to be on that, so it'll be fun and exciting to see what happens in 2025, and it'll be fun and exciting to see what happens once they finally make the announcements for Bassmaster and for BPT. So stay tuned.